this country will ever see. He hit the good six. Get over the fence. He got it. It's a golden duck. Look at that shot in the slot. Bang, middle of the bat. Over count corner for six. Oh, he's at a six. He's at a stadium. And a big sixer. What it take?
Welcome back to the Adam Bannon Cricket Podcast. Today we have a very special guest. She is your favorite MLC host. She is loved by Nepal, and she is in a band. She is Floyd. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great we can finally talk. This is awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's great. No, so I know over the past few months, we connected on TikTok. You were there, the face. I'm pretty sure you're also at the World Cup, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so at the World Cup, at MLC, and then, you're on my feed through TikTok. And then, now we're connecting, chatting, learning all the things.
Yes.
Because some people out there, like me, I was one of those people, thought that your name literally was She Is.
Yeah.
And then what? He is Floyd. Because that's how it comes across in your videos.
Yeah. Which is, I will take, I have honestly more people than not calling me She Is. And I love it. I'm like, let's go with it,
Yeah, it's like your signature name now. But the She Is Floyd, this is your band, correct?
Yeah. So Floyd is my name.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's what I go by for music as well. But honestly, strongly considering just putting the She Is together and actually being SheIsFloyd rather than She Is Floyd. So we'll see what happens. And I love that the cricket community gave me that. So that's kind from
Yeah, no, I think your stage name, She Is Floyd, you could be a little stage name right there. So you're tuning in from Texas.
Yeah.
Tuning in from Texas. You were born in Texas, you're from Texas, you just end up in Texas.
Kind of, because I was born in Maryland. A lot of my childhood was actually in Florida, in Orlando. And then I moved to Texas when I was about 8. So honestly, I say I'm from Florida and Texas because even though I was born in Maryland, I don't remember it. But I do remember the palm trees of Florida. So I always say Florida and Texas are home.
There you go. And then which city in Texas?
In Dallas.
Dallas, Texas. I have visited Dallas, Texas. I've been there. I've been to Dallas, Houston, and Austin just for a couple of days each. Going down there, everything's just bigger. Everything's bigger down there. But most people, I'm born in Australia.
Yeah.
People I like to say, explaining it, that Australia is basically just British Texas. That's what Australia is. But we talk with a different accent. That's just kind of what it's like. So I like it down there. It's country. I'm from the country, so Texas is country. Now, onto the band. I want to learn a little bit more about this. So what style of music is it? How did you start this off? Sounds like it's just you, like you're the star of the band, and then you have everyone else. Break it down for me.
Well, I grew up like a choir kid, so I was always into music. And then when I was a teenager, really started just being in my own rock bands with friends. My heart is with rock and roll. But then I grew up a little more, and I do kind of the singer-songwriter thing now with a little jazz influence. So my boyfriend is actually my guitarist. He's a jazz guitarist. And so now my music, which you heard it here first, my friend, we just went to the studio the other day to record a track. It's kind of singer-songwriter pop with a jazz influence. So I'm so excited about that.
Love that.
So that's kind of the genre we're working with now, is pop with a little bit of jazz in there.
That's awesome. Now, I do believe your boyfriend's name is also Adam.
Yeah.
I believe that is the case. Yes, because I hear in some videos, it's like Adam that. And then because Adam, I think, got you a cricket bat for Christmas. I saw that. How is that coming along? Because I believe not cricketer by birth. You've learned cricket. And how's the cricket coming along?
Yeah, so we have to take that out for a spin. We haven't yet because we've been traveling a little bit for the holidays and now getting back to the swing of things. But we are planning to take it out, and it's cool because I have some viewers who live in Arlington and Irving, and they're like, why don't you come join us soon? We'll give you the details. So I get to really learn with them, which is so cool, with the people who started viewing my videos. So right now it's just me learning how to swing a bat, but soon we're gonna take it out and actually try and teach me to play. So
yeah, no, it seems to be a good community of cricket down there in Texas. That's kind of like the hub, being there at Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
You would have spent a lot of time over there. Is that where you were based for most of the World Cup and MLC?
Yeah, it's at the same Grand Prairie Cricket Stadium, which is maybe half an hour from me, which is beautiful. That's great. It's not like 2 hours or anything. But yeah, the World Cup was there, all of Major League Cricket. Well, I mean, Major League Cricket was split between North Carolina and Texas, but I was there every other day in July, for MLC, which was so cool. But yeah, it was all at that same place. And it's a great, little ground out there too.
So how was that? How was that coming into the World Cup? Like, was this your first cricket event that you were at? Yes. And then, so how did you get into that?
That's a good question, because it's like, okay, this girl doesn't know cricket. What is she doing? So my career is hosting sports. Like, I've done baseball, basketball, rugby, football, hockey, soccer. And so I was found by some people at MLC at a baseball game I was hosting. And they reached out and basically, they saw me working. They went to rugby games I was working, baseball games. So that was kind of my resume. They saw me. It was kind of like an audition without me knowing it was an audition. And then they reached out to me and were like, so the World Cup is coming for cricket. And I was like, okay. And they asked me right then and there, can we have some meetings with you, like over Zoom? So I was like, sure. But I let them know. I was like, I don't know cricket, but I'm going to do some research, because I don't ever want to go into a sport like blind. Because with rugby, I knew nothing about rugby, but I tried to do my research. And so things worked out. I accepted, and my first exposure to cricket was the World Cup, which is so crazy. But I was learning along the way, and what a cool event to learn from.
Oh, absolutely.
But I couldn't, obviously I couldn't sit and watch the game because it was chaos. I had to be here for the camera, be there, So I would pick up little tidbits and learn along the way. But it was so much fun. It was hard at first because I was like, how do you read a scoreboard in cricket? But then, then it comes along.
So walk us through like a day in the life of a media host at the World Cup. So like, you obviously get to the ground, and then what is it like? How do the cameras move you around? Where do they put you? How does it all kind of play out?
So we're there, I had like 3 hours early, maybe. Obviously, it's super security. So we have our creds, everything's checked. Head to the control room for some meetings. And then my field producer, I would be lost without, every host would be lost without a field producer, because they have the headset, and I'm over there with the microphone. I do have somebody in my ear, but she's getting all of the, okay, go here now, go there, go, because I just kind of have to be posted up looking in the camera. But that's how I know where to go is you just have a really good field producer. But what is so cool is sometimes you have like technical directors who are like, you know what, put your own spin on it. What do you want to do in this, little break? So it's really cool. Some people let you have that creativity, but it's really, if you got to mesh well with that field producer, and then you'll be so safe. So
awesome. So like they get you are basically in between like overs or drinks breaks. They're coming to you, you're checking in with the crowd, finding the people with the drums. I'm sure you had people with drums out there, lots of those. Yeah. And then you're just like getting in there, talking to them, and then kind of like segueing into the next over kind of thing. Does that work? Yeah.
Yeah. With little like events, little interviews, things like that.
That's awesome. I know the answer to this question already. Who was your favorite fans of the World Cup?
On three. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Nepal! Hey!
I love them. They're like my second family. It was Nepal versus Netherlands, and I could not find a single Netherlands fan because Nepal like bought out the place. But yeah, it was their loyalty, their kindness, their passion. I would just stand there and just be in awe of that. And how they were like, oh, you're family now, and just like giving me hugs and stuff like that. And like, don't get me wrong, there's time and a place. I'm not saying people were just jumping on me or anything. But, they're like accepting me. They're like, oh, and this is, what we do. This is why we love our team, why we're passionate. So they blew me away. So I picked my team,
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm an American, so proud to be American, but there's that special place, that Nepal has in my heart.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I didn't know they were competing. They were the first time me seeing them at the World Cup. And it was crazy to see how many of them were there. and then transitioning into them, they played USA kind of after MLC finished. They played those series together, and the stadium, Grand Prairie, was just packed out with Nepalese fans.
Yeah.
And I was so into it. And I gained a lot of followers from Nepal, like, because I was covering the Nepal USA games. And then they were asking me, cover the MPL. And then so I'm covering the Nepal Premier League. And just watching that, it was so exciting. They're just the best fans.
Yeah, they are. And I covered NPL too. And that was so fun. And what's cool is when they did play USA, I made it out to a few games. So that was really cool. I had some days off and I was like, I'm just going to spend it here off the clock, and watch a team that I love. But it was so fun covering NPL on TikTok too.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would have liked you over there, hosting over there. We only had, I think, we have one guy over there commentating, but it's 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 a big league. It's growing. I think it moved to like number 5 or 6 out of all the leagues, because there are many, many leagues. It's a big nation that's growing in cricket, and I can't wait to have them back. I want them back here, like the USA all the time, because it's awesome.
Yeah, they were wondering why I wasn't in Nepal for NPL. I was like, guys, I'm covering it from my little apartment. But one day, hopefully next year, I'm dreaming big. Like they could have me out there.
Oh yeah, that would be fantastic. So on the MPL, did you have a team? Did you align yourself with a team, or were just all about the whole thing?
Well, I was trying to be neutral, because when I cover sports, I like to be neutral. But I do love our captain, which was, Rahib Patel and he was Lumbini Lions, which they did not do too well. But he was great for scoring, but it's just, the team didn't hold up. So, oh, my cat is eating something. Stop it. So, I guess I was pulling a little for the Lions, but, I was making videos for everybody. And it was cool to see the fans comment on those videos like, oh, do my team next. So, even though, I did like the Lions, I wanted to make sure I covered most of the teams. I had a Yaks video. It turned out so bad. So I'm so sorry, Yaks fans.
I'm assuming this is relation to your transformation videos where you did like a little cut scene to you dressing up as a character. Are you saying that the Yak one just didn't work?
I looked horrible. It was so funny. It was like the type of video you would share only because I looked so stupid, You
should post as like a blooper reel. I'm sure it might blow up.
I should actually. Just like disclaimer, I don't usually look like this. But it was so fun. I am kind of proud of my bolts video. I did kind of like pink lightning bolts makeup. So I tried to have color schemes of each teams and do my transformations. So
it was pretty impressive, some of that work. I mean, you could almost put out a like face painting series for Nepal. Be like, hey, if you're going to the Nepal game, here you go. Here's your face paint template for your favorite team. Already good, right? You could do like a makeup tutorial, like facing tutorial. That would hit really well.
I have some behind the scenes of me doing the makeup, but what's funny is like halfway through, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, this is horrible. I don't know where this is going. But then it turns out okay. But, I wasn't looking at references. So I was just messing around and I was like, this is horrible. No, wait, this is cool. No, it's going to get cool. Wait, it's bad again. But it turned out okay.
Very impressive. And then for the rhinos, you just went with the knitted sweater, beanie.
Yeah. Lucky to find that online because I had no idea what to do with that.
Yeah. That's good. So ML, so you went, from World Cup, you moved, so you weren't saying you weren't watching most of the games, mostly just hosting. Did you happen to be there for USA Pakistan, or that didn't happen at Grand Prairie? Were you there? Do you remember that moment?
I was there. Yep. And I was such a baby into cricket that they were like, you don't understand like what just happened. And I wanted to so bad, and they're like super over but so I was soaking it up, I was like, I want to be a sponge. Tell me what all this means, but it was like historic. And I wish there were more USA fans there. There is mostly Pakistan fans, which is, I love any fan. But since USA had that like triumph, it would have been so cool if, it would had a little more USA fans. But it was great. Everyone, I was one of the only Americans who worked that. The rest were Australian. And so they were like, you don't even know what happened, but it was so cool. And I was like, I want to know next time. I swear I'll know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that game was this is why I'm here. I wouldn't have been here without that game. So yeah, so literally before that game finished, I had watched a game of cricket, posted a game of cricket, swung a cricket bat for years.
Oh,
Even though I would like to say I came out of the womb with a cricket bat in my hand. I was born with a cricket bat in my hand. I played cricket all my life. It's like a family sport. My dad played, his dad played. I got to tour around the world when I was in high school. I traveled to Sri Lanka, played some cricket there. Yeah, I played in Hong Kong in a Super Sixes tournament. I don't know if you've ever heard of Super Sixes, but it's like even shorter than T20. It's just 6 overs.
Yeah.
So I got invited over there for a team over there. My sister also played. She was also very good. My sister won the Australian women's Super Sixes while we were over there. So yeah, so cricketing family.
Yeah.
And moving to America, it was like no one knows cricket. There's no one here that they don't know anything what's going on. And there's no cricket here. No, I didn't realize there is cricket here, but I didn't realize it was here. So I just kind of hung up the gloves, put the bat away, and just, got on with my life. And at that point in my life, I was actually, I don't know if you know this, but I was actually full-time on YouTube. So I had a YouTube channel called Fit Couple Cooks, and we made meal prep. So I'm actually a meal prep chef. And that was like my life between 2016 and like 2020 was meal prepping and making videos. So behind me, you see these 2 cookbooks.
Yeah.
They're my 2 cookbooks with DK Publishing.
Wow.
So that's how I got out to Texas, because we had a book tour in 2018. We toured around the country. We stopped all the way, it was 23 cities or something in 40 days, something like that. And that's how I got to see most of America, was through that.
Wow.
And then no cricket, just learning everything else, learning American football, learning baseball. And then, I turned on my phone. It was like, what was it? June 5th, June 8th, something like that. Whenever Pakistan were defeated by USA, turned on my phone and I'm like, my whole feed was just USA beats Pakistan, USA beats Pakistan. And I was like, the comments were just, what is this? Do we have a team? What do you mean we have a team? What do you mean?
Exactly.
What is cricket?
They're like, we have cricket?
Yeah. And I'm like, we have cricket? We have a team? I didn't know we had a team. So literally, I just took my phone out. I was home. I made a makeshift tripod. Didn't even have a tripod at home. Made a makeshift tripod next to the window, got my whiteboard, and just that was my first take. I know the Cricket Explained video was my first take, one take. And it was a 12-minute video that ended up, I cut it down to like 8.5 minutes. And the only piece that I cut out of it was the first part. And I'm glad I did, because it obviously went viral. The first part was like, if you're an American and you don't want to feel stupid about America having a cricket team and not thinking about cricket, here we go. And then I was like, cricket's kind of like baseball. And then I was like, I'll cut that bit out. I don't want to tell anyone that's stupid. But so I cut that piece out. And it's like, cricket's kind of like baseball. And then just like did it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was it. It just more questions, more videos.
Yeah, that's great. And I think your tutorials are great. Or not tutorials, but explanations. Yeah, those are great. And that's how I found you, I think, is that video that went viral, the explaining cricket.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have found me through that. Like just this week, an Australian podcast, they put up a clip, tagged me, and like, hey, do you know that, have you heard of that American guy that like talks about cricket? And then the other guy's like, you want the guy that's annoying? I don't know. There's another guy that the Australians confuse me with. There's a Canadian that's in Australia that basically films his life. And then people think that's me. And they're like, and then people think, no, it's the guy from America. He's like really cool. He explains cricket. He knows what he's talking about. But like Australians think I'm American, which I'll take. I'll take it.
I don't think you can think American.
To Australians, they think I'm American because my accent has changed quite significantly. So how we're talking here is my natural accent, but it's not like my Australian accent. But, oh yeah, g'day. SheIsFloyd, how's it going? Welcome to the podcast. Yeah, from Australia, mate. We're going to go get a few skills out the back. Yeah, have a rip. Yeah. Like that's how I would have talked back in the day.
Yeah.
And like if you watch my old YouTube videos, my accent's completely different.
Really?
But,
I'm going to go stalk you then after this.
Yes. So I think it's just because I don't hear the Australian accent in my day-to-day life, and I haven't been home to Australia in 7 years. So I only hear the American accent.
Huh.
Yeah.
Are you're in New York now? Is that what you said?
So I'm in Connecticut. I'm in
Oh.
Connecticut. Yeah. So New York time zone.
Yeah.
Connecticut. So I've been here since 2017. And yeah, I don't know if you've been out to Connecticut. Connecticut's like one of the forgotten states.
Yeah.
It's just a gap between Boston and New York.
Mhm.
And everyone that wants to get another house from New York comes and buys a house over here in Connecticut. But Connecticut's nice. I mean, coming from Australia, you get full 4 seasons up here. So I know you're native Florida native, Texas native. I don't know if you get full 4 seasons down there. Guys don't normally get snow. I know they're getting snow down there now.
Yeah, which is weird. Most of it goes summer, winter. We have like 2 days of spring, 2 days of fall. They're beautiful. And then it's like 112,
Yeah. Which I like. I prefer the heat because being from the bush in Australia, love the 100-degree heat.
Mhm.
But here in Connecticut, it's full 4 seasons. So you have hot green summers, then you're going into the fall, and then like the trees go to the golds, the browns,
that's beautiful.
the reds, the yellows. Yeah. And then leaves fall from the trees. It's snow. And you hope that there's always snow because if it's not snow, then it's just gray. And the gray is not, it's from now on until like March, it gets kind of bleak. Looking at the gray. But yeah, then it comes back around all green and it's pretty again. So
yeah, I love seasons. I wish we had more of that here, but
So do you handle the heat all right? You handle the Texas heat all right?
yeah, I mean, I worked outside for years, for baseball. Baseball was my first hosting gig, and it's outside in that Texas heat, and you just got to know you're going to just be drenched in sweat all day. So if that's coming, but like, I'm used to it. I wish it was a little cooler, but it's been my life for so long. So
yeah. And so what team did you do that for? The baseball?
So that was Frisco Rough Riders, who's AA for the Rangers, who I love. I love baseball so much. Like I said, that was my first sport I hosted, and I love watching it. Big sports girl. So yeah, that was it was so special too, because we would watch those players from AA a lot of times jump to Rangers. And so the little entertainment crew would have watch parties and be like, oh, so-and-so is at Rangers tonight. He made it, So that's really cool seeing those guys go from the minors to the majors.
That's awesome. Did you play any softball or anything like that?
No, I was a gymnast.
Okay.
So like I said, never swung a bat or shot a basketball. I mean, for fun now, my Adam will take me out and make fun of my horrible aim. But I was a gymnast, so that's completely different. Like I can do backflips on balance beams, but swinging a bat, we're going to have to practice.
So you're saying that there's a reality where you can have a backflip into your intro for one of the next MLC games.
Heck yeah. I
Off
get
the chair. Yeah. Welcome guys to MLC backflip. Then here you go. Take it away. That's pretty good, right?
I might use that actually.
You can do it off the big cricket ball. Is the cricket ball always there at the stadium there?
Yeah, that's always there.
You don't need like a run. Maybe you can run up to it and do it like backflip off it or something. I don't know.
Honestly, if you can dream it, you can do it. We'll figure it out.
So baseball, and then I think you also do like hockey as well.
Yeah. So
hockey for me, because that's something that is foreign to me. And they do I've been to a game. I think it's very exciting to watch. Probably one of the exciting sports, very fast. But they have this thing where they throw the pucks and everything. Like, talk about that. What it's like being a hockey host.
Yeah. So we're in hockey season right now. That was one of the sports I actually knew least. And that was, again, I tried to do my research, but like everything else, it's just the experience being thrown into it. That's when you're going to learn the most. And it's still one of the sports I don't know as well as cricket, don't know as well as baseball, because, like I said, a lot of times I'm doing my job and I can't sit down and watch it. But I host for Allen Americans, and I've been doing that for about 5 years. So yeah, it's really fun. It's completely different. It's inside and freezing, opposite of Rough Riders, outside and burning up. But there is something I love about being outside for sports. So I'm blessed to host any sport. So I do love hosting hockey, but I love, when spring, summer rolls around and I can get back outside to baseball. But yeah, they're totally different. But a lot of times it's the people you work with who make it fun. And I'm just lucky to work with some amazing people in both sports, you know?
That's awesome. And so on the hockey, what is that game when they throw the puck?
Oh,
Is that?
hello,
what is
like
that?
when everyone's throwing them?
Yeah, explain that. Because like for, let's say, Australians that are tuning in or anyone that doesn't, like English folk that don't do hockey, like it's like a new thing. I was like, what is everyone doing when they're throwing this puck? Yeah, explain the puck situation.
Yeah, that when everyone's throwing the pucks,
Yes.
that's during an intermission. And it's we call it chuck-a-puck, honestly, because you're chucking.
Chuck-a-puck. That's what it's called. Yeah.
And you're just aiming for targets to win prizes. And thankfully, they're foam. So if I'm going out there and someone wants to be funny and be like, let's hit the host, I'm like, it doesn't hurt. But
Have you taken a hit? Have you taken a hit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we all have on who's been on the ice. But yeah, pretty simple. Like just you get pucks and you throw them on the ice and try to win prizes. And then sometimes you win, most of the time you lose, but everyone has a good time.
It's very unique. I haven't seen a game like that in any other sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, to get the visual, they basically just put a target right at the middle of the field, middle of the line, and everyone takes a puck and just throws it over the glass.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever gets closest to the kind of like center point wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's I loved it. I thought it was super fun. I wish when I went to the hockey, I knew what was going on. I was like, a puck, I need a puck. I want a puck.
Yeah, next time. We got you.
Next time. So you said you're also doing the rugby. You've also done a little bit of rugby.
I've done rugby, yeah. Sadly,
Love that.
the team is like being sold or something, so I'm not doing rugby anymore. But yeah, that was definitely an experience.
Yeah, so I mean, like Ilona Maher, I'm sure Ilona Maher's moving rugby forward here in the US. Do you watch Ilona Maher? You fan? You tuning into the rugby?
To be honest, I'm not really following rugby. Oh my gosh, my cat again. I'm so sorry. I'm not really following rugby, to be honest with you. Yeah.
That's the honest question. Yeah, okay. I was talking maybe with the rugby because a lot of people I talk to like loving Ilona Maher, and rugby is the needle is being moved in America because of her talking about rugby, which I'm excited about because, you know, my two sports are cricket and rugby, or rugby league, which is a whole different thing. But it's nice to see like that being talked about because, you know, we have the Olympics coming up, you know, so rugby sevens is going to be there. Cricket's going to be there, along with softball, baseball, lacrosse also. So we have these America has teams in all of these things. And, you know, we have an opportunity to like, you know, go for Team USA in these sports like cricket that we don't know too much about, which is exciting because we can win this thing. I'm all on Team USA to win this thing.
Yeah. And I'm sure you feel this way too, but it is so like special to me that, oh my gosh, my cat. Can you like see my camera like shifting like that?
Oh, I see it shifting. Yeah, it's cool.
But like I said, yeah, I'm sure you feel this way too. Being in America on kind of the beginning of cricket, just being exposed here, you know, the MLC season, this was only the second season here. And being kind of on the brink of that with the videos you and I make, it's so cool being there, like helping this, you know, be exposed in America. You know, that like fires me up. I want to keep making videos, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And there isn't many of us Americans here making cricket content, which is cool that, you know, there's me and you here doing it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's resonating with a lot of people. You know, we're finding that audience. We're making understandable or likable people. And it's like, we're moving it forward. There's so many questions. Even the other day, I was on with another creator, Will. He had a group of people and they were just like, hey, do you mind if we just like ask you questions? I'm like, no, you ask me all the questions. I will sit here and talk about it all day. I'll explain it twice if I need to, because that's the big thing I miss. Like when we had the TikTok we thought was going to get banned and I got all emotional. I'm like, it's one of those things where a lot of people don't quite understand. When you leave your home country, you leave everything. You leave your family, leave your friends. You're trying to start something new. And sometimes you like want to go back to those things that you can like rely on. Mm-hmm. And it's like my summers were my whole life was cricket. Mm-hmm. My winters was all rugby. And like I would watch so much sport and you have that friend group and that team that you're with. Yeah. The team is the big thing I miss. I used to be on teams and travel and you have that camaraderie with people. And then you come here, it's like, oh, okay. Teach me about baseball. Teach me about what are the Yankees doing or what's the Giants like we're in football. So yeah, being a part of that, building that cricket community here in the US is just like, it drives me
Yeah.
to make more videos, to meet more people, to keep talking about it. Cause I want America to like be a cricket nation.
Oh, yeah. And now that like, I get this and I get cricket, I'm a blonde American girl. And I'm sure people are like, what are you doing? Like, do you even know what you're talking about? And I'm like, yeah, now I just dove in after the World Cup. And I tell my viewers too, I'm like, I'm still learning. I get the game. I know it, I have my favorite team, my favorite players, but I'm still, still learning every day and want to keep doing that. So, I can bring that knowledge, like we're, said to other Americans here. And I'm like, no, it's cool. Let me just teach you how to read a scoreboard and then you can follow along,
Yeah.
So it's been fun.
Yeah, that's probably the main thing is getting them the score, because there is so many moving parts to the game. So it'd be like, hey, yeah, this small number, that's how many people are out. Big number, that's how many runs they've got. And then the overs is they're only going to go to number 20. So if they're at 12, they've got 8 to go. Then, okay.
And what's funny is when I brought my boyfriend to MLC, the overs would be like, like 5.2 or something. And he's like, or like 5.5. And he's like, so they have 5.5 points. And I'm like, oh, no, we'll start from the beginning.
Yeah, one ball left in the over.
Yeah.
What's maybe the hardest concept or the most confusing concept you have or had about cricket? Maybe you've learned it by now. Was there like something that were like, you still don't quite understand, or something like, wait, how does that work again?
Okay. Yeah. So what comes to mind in the very beginning, people would say wicket. And I'm like, they'd be like it's 5 wickets or whatever. And I'm like, wait, isn't that the stumps in the ground? So they were talking about, the players getting out while I was thinking like, so they won with like it didn't make sense to me because I heard, like the wickets were the people, but the wickets were the stumps in the ground, So just stupid little things like that all I needed was someone to clarify,
Yeah.
But that was in the very beginning.
That was a classic one for me also, a lot of questions about that, because the wicket is also the pitch. It's the wicket is the pitch, the wicket is the stumps.
Yeah.
The wicket is the batter getting out. It's like, oh yeah, they're 4 wickets down and he just hit the wicket.
Yeah.
Talking about. And it's one of those things where it's unless you don't know. It's just like, yeah. So, yeah. You said you have a favorite team, favorite player. Who are those? Who is your favorite team, favorite player?
Well, we talked about Nepal, so definitely Nepal. But if we're talking about MLC here, I loved the Freedom. I love Washington Freedom, and they happened to win the championship. But I did have certain players I liked watching from different teams, like watching Aaron Jones play, who was a big help in the, in the defeat over Pakistan, and just like, players from certain teams. So when it came to MLC, it wasn't like I'm solely rooting for the Freedom, but I was like, you know what? They won. And like, I was, I liked that a lot. But yeah, just kind of random players. So I don't know if I have an answer to that. Like as far as favorite team, I was in the end rooting for the Freedom. And I
Freedom
and Unicorns, who were
final.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Freedom Unicorns final. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Freedom, I call the Freedom like Australia A. It's all the Australia players, Ricky Ponting. I'm not sure if you know history too much about Australian cricket or Ricky Ponting, how that works, but do you know Ricky Ponting and the coach of the Freedom, the history there?
I mean, I don't know as much as you know.
So I can give a little history lesson because so the cool thing about the MLC is that the kind of like old era of Australian players, like I call them the golden age of cricket. Like these guys were just the pinnacle of the sport back in the 90s, 2000s. They're now over here coaching the American sides.
Mm-hmm.
So Ricky Ponting is like up there in the top 3 batters of all time. Like you could argue it's him, it's Sachin Tendulkar, it's Brian Lara, it's Don Bradman.
Yeah.
But I think he has the 3rd most runs of all time in cricket. So he's coaching the Freedom. And then basically the Australian T20 side is the Washington Freedom side. They have Travis Head and Steve Smith there, Maxwell, and they're there with Gauss. So Gauss from Team USA has this like, he's doing so well now. He went over to Nepal, well over there for the Avengers. And he's had this kind of like coaching and being able to rub shoulders with these like elite Australian cricketers. And I think that's really helped his game. And that's going to be amazing for USA because I just love seeing him score runs. He's scored the 100 over in Nepal, which was amazing. And I don't know if you tuned into the South Africa USA game. That's my favorite game because I didn't actually watch the USA Pakistan game. I didn't know it was coming.
Yeah.
No, so I didn't even know it existed. All I know was it went to my phone. So then I watched every game after that, and I live commentated that game when we were chasing down the runs, and I was convinced we were going to beat South Africa. It was so close. Andreas Gauss and Harmeet Singh.
I love watching Harmeet Singh too.
Oh, Harmeet Singh's my favorite. I love Harmeet
he's
Singh.
one of my favorite.
He's so good. I just made a video about him recently talking about like how he's the most economical bowler right now in the world. He's so under the radar. You know, he's not on the map. You know, he's on the cricketing nation's map, but like maybe cricket fans aren't too aware that he's that good. He's so good. He's fantastic. And he's such a good person. He's also so nice. He comments and shares anytime I make any videos about him. He's awesome. But yeah, he's going to be a fantastic bowler for us and going to be a real weapon, you know, coming into the Olympics for us. And yeah, I think he's be retained by the Orcas, be playing for them in the MLC. Yeah, so takes a lot of wickets for them. And it's good having the American players following their journeys around the world because he also went over to Nepal and played for one of the teams. I'm forgetting I forget which team he was on over in Nepal, but
it's cool because like, you know, going into my next MLC year, now me knowing these players, or not like personally, but you know what I mean, knowing them and being like, oh, I can't wait to watch him, or can't wait to watch him, you know. And it's cool that cricket stuck with me and I'm actually passionate about it, you know, and want to watch these players and tell people about them. So it's been fun.
Yeah. So looping back around to the band. So I know you had talked about that. Are you playing gigs locally? I know you said you're recording a song. How does the music scene work where you are? Tell me about that. How's the music life? How's that work? Yeah,
well, I love it. I gig a lot. Dallas is amazing for shows. The Deep Ellum area, there's venue. We have a residency at a place called Jack Ruby's in Dallas. And yeah, we really we're both busy because I'm busy with sports. And he also, my guitarist, teaches music too. So we're not gigging every day, but when we can, a couple times a month, we just love it because we'll do covers, we'll do originals. And, you know, working by just like singing, I'm like, yeah, I'd love to, you know, sing and make a buck doing that. So yeah, when we can get out to gig, it's so much fun. We do that a lot.
Awesome. And then I had a question, like, what is on Floyd's playlist? Like, if you have you're in your zone, you're in your playlist, what are the band's songs that are on that playlist?
That's a good question. Definitely Led Zeppelin, big classic rock girl. There's a band called Fair to Midland. Then there's this Israeli metal band.
Okay.
Called Orphaned Land. And they are crazy. When I work, I kind of look more polished, kind of more take the eyeliner off, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to the music, I do like heavier stuff. Sleep Token, really cool.
Just to let you know, I am a metalhead. I am a huge metalhead. Oh, yeah. My first concert ever was Slipknot.
Really? Wow.
For Guns.
Well, that's great. To be honest, I don't remember what my first concert was. I just
really
go to them all the time. And one of my favorite bands of all time, I have 2 AFI tattoos.
AFI?
Old school AFI. I love. So yeah, a little bit heavier stuff, but you know, I'll listen to anything. Music's art. I respect it. It's somebody's art, you know, what they make. But yeah, top, I'd say AFI, Zeppelin, just kind of, I don't know, that type of music.
Yeah. And so do you get out to, obviously you've seen many bands. You have like a favorite band you've seen outside of AFI? Like, I'm sure you've seen plenty of bands.
Well, I mean, I went to it's AFI, but I went to their like anniversary show, flew out to California to see it. But let's see, besides AFI, well, I did see Robert Plant live in 2016, I think. So that was amazing. Favorite live show. Have you
been to like a Warped Tour or anything like that? One of those?
I cannot believe I have not been to Warped Tour. It's like embarrassing. I'm the type of person who should have been at Warped Tour, and I loved the Used growing up. I still love the Used. Candlebox. Do you like Candlebox from the 90s?
That is not ringing a bell for me. I don't know if that made it to Australia.
I should also.
They have like a classic song. You have to send me some. I don't know, is there like a hit song?
There's
Maybe
a
I
hit
can like.
song called Far Behind. You might recognize it.
Maybe.
I'll send you something. But
Okay, yeah, you said it.
it's that classic like Seattle 90s grunge.
Okay.
There, yeah.
So music was a little different. Like we had some bands in Australia that hit the charts that didn't make it over here. So, which is interesting to people because most, 90s kids, millennials, they're like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, but that was that era.
Yeah.
In Australia, we have a band. Well, they're not an Australian band. They're actually a British band called Five. I don't know if you've ever heard of the band called Five, but to me in Australia, they were my like NSYNC Backstreet Boys.
Really?
I'm obsessed with all the songs, all the things. And then you come here, it's like, who is this band? I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you not know this band? This band was huge in 2000. Yeah. And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Those things, like, they just hit different charts. Like they're big in big in England, big in Australia, missed over here in the USA. Because I guess we had Backstreet Boys. NSYNC wasn't as big, I feel, in Australia. So I don't know if you're into the pop stuff like that. No,
not as much, but
not as much.
I'll look up Five because I've never heard of Five.
Well, yeah, I'll send you the Five. There you go. We're doing the switch. We said Sleep Token.
Yeah, do you like Sleep Token?
Sleep Token, yes, fans of them. Yeah, there's plenty of good things. I think I have like probably my kick right now. Day to Remember is probably like is like sliding into the genre there. I'm probably a little less heavier now than it used to be. Mm-hmm. Heavy was we got Lamb of God, Devil Driver, like things like that, along with the Slipknot. But yeah, probably the pop punk style is kind of like where I land now.
Okay, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have any burning questions for me for the pod? Anything you needed to know?
Honestly, you answered a lot because I was wondering what you were doing here. Like, because obviously I hear your accent, but you told me the whole, like the meal prep and cookbook. So I was like, okay, that answers that. Yeah, you kind of told me what I was wondering.
I did. That's how I got here. We figured out how we got here. We figured out I live in Connecticut.
Yeah.
I figured out I've been over to Texas. Have you been to Australia? Have you been over there?
I want to so bad though. Yeah, no, I love traveling. I haven't gotten to do a lot of what's on my bucket list, but I would love to. And Australians like go barefoot everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So
yep,
I would
100%.
Yeah, I would see that at MLC. Like people are doing that, and I was like, oh, we can do that.
Yeah. No shirt, no shoes. Like in America, it's like no shoes, no shirt, no service. In Australia, like that's the only way we live.
I love that.
There is no other way. Have you work with a bunch of Australians? Has there been anything they've said you're like, what is that? What are they talking about? Any weird words?
They call the wave the Mexican wave.
It is the Mexican wave. That is correct.
And we were like, what are you talking about? It's just the wave. What are you talking about? And what's so funny is I just had this conversation the other day with one of my Australian friends who I worked with. Yeah.
Yes, it's the Mexican wave. So I am aware of why it's called the Mexican wave because recently I've come to learn that Americans don't call it the Mexican wave. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Australian, it's the Mexican wave. So apparently in the 80s, 90s, there was a soccer World Cup.
Yeah.
And it was in Mexico and they did the wave. They're like, oh, I guess the Mexicans do the wave. It's the Mexican wave.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do. That's what I've always called it. That's what it is in Australia.
Nice. Maybe I'll start calling it that then.
Yeah, that's that. And yeah, I mean, we have some very strange words for lots of different things. Are you concerned about the animals over there? I know a lot of Americans very concerned about, oh, I can't go to Australia because snakes, spiders, all those things. How do you go with those things? You think you'll survive?
I am in love with things that crawl. I love snakes. I love spiders. I play on the wild side because sometimes I'm like, we have like big tarantulas here. I'm gonna ask you about that and I'll show you. But we have like some tarantulas, and I'm always the one who's like, will you get in my hand, little guy? And people are like, stop. So that's kind of cool to me. But I have heard rumors. You guys actually have those like gigantic tarantulas, or is that
Absolutely. So they're not tarantulas. So we have a couple. So
okay?
the big one is called the huntsman spider. And the huntsman spider, I kind of describe it like if you took your palm every day, not every day, at least every week, you would see a spider like as big as your palm.
Wow, that's
At least once a week. At least once a week, you would see one that big. Once a month, you might get one the size of your hand.
wow.
And then I literally have seen one that is as big as a dinner plate. That's like no joke. Like,
And are they
you know,
dangerous?
no, they're not dangerous. No, they're just big. They're just big.
But
No,
they're
they're not.
their thing.
They're everywhere. It's because I live in, like, I call it on the bush. Like there's 100 acres of woods behind my house, bush behind my house, and they're everywhere. You can't. One of the things that Americans don't quite understand, like Australians are super tough. Like you said, they don't wear shoes. And we have these things in the grass called bindi. So there's like a thorn in Australian grass that like pricks your feet.
Dude.
And we just walk through it and we get used to it. We have the spiders everywhere. We get used to it. But it's one of those things that I live in America under there's no stress here because I go to pick something up and I have no fear of a spider being underneath it. I have no fear of a snake being in there because in Australia, if you're like, you go to your garage, you're going to go get something, put in the car. You are going up to pick that item up with the full intention of there is a spider on the backside of that or there's a snake underneath it. That's what you every time. Oh, there's a snake under there? No. Okay, we're good.
I know some people who, with what you just said, they would never want to go there now. But me, I'm like, I'd kind of like to see that. You know, now that you told me that they're not going to come attack me or the spiders, like, have you picked one up, the big ones?
No. So I have no intention of picking up the big one. You just kind of leave them alone.
Yeah.
But there are poisonous ones. We have the most venomous spider in the world, the funnel web spider. And I've only ever seen one that looks like a tarantula, except its fangs are actually like a snake. So they'll like stand up on it and they'll kind of like strike like a snake.
Wow.
And so I found one and I knew that you were not meant to kill them because if you try to kill one, you're actually probably more likely to get yourself bitten. So you have to kind of like leave them alone and try to squash them. And they actually ask you to capture them humanely and then bring them to the reptile park so they can extract the venom from them. So I have securely captured and transported a Sydney web spider to the reptile park for extraction of venom. Yeah.
I love animals.
Yeah, little guy. I got there and they're like, "Oh, he's a little feisty fella." They were so thankful that I brought him in. And I told people that I did that. They're like, "Oh my God, how'd you go near it?" I'm like, they're really slow. But you just put a container over it, kind of pick it up. It's slow, and then put a little hole in it and take it to the reptile pump. It's food.
I wouldn't mind that. And like, I'm the vegan girl who just like loves every animal. I was gonna ask though, with you saying that, are they like a threat to little pets? Because I got a cat here.
The funnel webs, they're a threat to a lot of things. Yeah, I think it's not recommended that they bite the cats or the dogs. They're probably going to get severely ill.
Good.
And one of the problems with when my tour guide, when I put my Australian tour guide together with people, I'm like, here you go. When you're looking at spiders, they're not all dangerous. And if you want to know which ones are, listen up. So I say, if you see a spider on the wall, not dangerous. If you see a spider in a web, not dangerous. You see a spider on the roof, not dangerous. See a spider on the floor, do not touch it. It's probably going to kill you. Yeah. The dangerous ones actually live in the ground. They burrow holes in the ground. You have the trapdoor spider, the funnel web spider, live in the ground. And they actually make they burrow and make like tunnels and live in the ground. So yeah, you don't want to pick up a spider on the ground. They're probably pretty bad for you.
This is a lesson.
Yeah, that is the word because and there's so many things like blue ringed octopuses are also super, super deadly. While spearfishing, I came in contact with one. I didn't touch it, but they're actually really small. They're super small. They're like probably the size of a golf ball, and they illuminate with little blue rings in the water. So I went down for some pippies, which is like oysters. Picked up the big thing of pippies, and the octopus comes up, and you see the rings. You're like, oh my goodness. So I basically floated to the top of the water with this, big pile of oysters, and then just carried it to the shore because I didn't want it to touch me, and that would have been bad because you got about like a 20. I think it's a 20-30 minute till you're dead. Yeah, the worst one is the box jellyfish. So the box jellyfish is only in the northern part of Australia, in Queensland and up by Indonesia, Papua New Guinea up there. And when you go scuba diving, like the Great Barrier Reef, when scuba diving there, they put you in like a morph suit, basically, like a full wetsuit. So, and they kind of like let you know, like if it's season or not season, how likely you are. I went in a season that wasn't your season, but they're like, that's even worse. That's like 5 minutes. If you get a sting, you're toast. Yeah. That's probably the worst thing that can get you. But I like to tell people that it's no more dangerous than America. Like you've been to Florida, Texas, like is only if you go to certain areas, you're going to find these things. In Sydney, it's just going to be like going to New York. It's going to be like being in Dallas. It's going to be like, it's just a regular city. There isn't too much going on. We don't have kangaroos jumping down the street.
You don't?
Well, in Sydney, where I'm from, yeah, we have fields. You go to like a park, there'll just be 1,000 kangaroos out there just like chilling. Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah. There are 2 types of roos though. I don't recommend people go patting the roos. People do come and they do pat the roos. The gray kangaroos, pretty docile, but the red ones, I don't know if you've ever seen a red kangaroo. They're huge. They can get like 6 feet tall. They're jacked. They can get kind of aggressive. They're the ones that live out there in the outback. So, yeah. That's your education on Australia. I think
I love that. I was not expecting it, but now I'm excited.
Yeah. I did forget echidna, platypus, koala. That's also in there. They're just total like random animals that we have that.
I want to book a flight now.
Yeah, go for a trip. Head out to the outback. You go to the outback. Will just it's similar to Texas, but the trucks are just much smaller. We don't have the big trucks here. I do like having the big trucks over here. I got to get myself one of those. But yeah, you'll love it over there. If you love Texas, you love the animals. You'll love Australia.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna have to send you off with something you can say to the Americans. Oh no, say to the Australians next time you're there. You're gonna have to ask them like, "How's your schnitty? You love a good schnitty?" You got to ask them that. You got to ask the Australians if they like a good schnitty.
What is that?
So a schnitty it's a chicken schnitzel. I mean, like a chicken schnitzel. I don't know if you've had a chicken schnitzel, but a chicken schnitty is like the most sold item, like at a pub or like a restaurant. It's like a thing that we always eat. It's just a chicken schnitzel, and Australians are big on their chicken schnitties. And so I'm sure if you said that to them, that would have a bit of a shock. Oh yeah, I love a good schnitty. Where can you get?
I'll have to write that down then.
And the ones highly recommend finding it if you can. It's good.
Nice. Oh, that's fun.
Well, Floyd, it's been awesome to have you on the show. It's been an awesome podcast. Thank you. Let everyone know where they can find you. I know you're all over the place.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. But hello, everyone. You can follow me at SheIsFloyd, basically everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Those are mostly where I am. Trying to post more on Instagram. So, and then I'll be posting on Spotify soon. So yeah, everything SheIsFloyd.
SheIsFloyd. That's where you can find her everywhere. It'll be tagged below. Again, Floyd, thank you for being on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This was awesome. I think this is really cool what you're doing.
We'll be doing it again absolutely before MLC starts up for sure. We'll get the wrap, the pre-game on everything MLC. We'll keep teaching Americans cricket.
Yes.
For sure. So guys, that's it for today's show. Thank you much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.
See ya.